reach its 80%, whatever level it needs. It would be nice if we had other parties involved, in terms of politics involved in whatever discussions are going on, because technically this current government is in power for up to the end of 2024. So what happens next? How are we sure that they're going to come out with a program that protects the interests, all the interests going forward? So it would be nice to have the other parties involved.
And that's Ken Thompson, Chief Executive for Delex Finance, speaking on the subject of the new arrangement that have been agreed with the various entities. And we're talking about the trust and then also the individual bondholders being asked to accept the new offer by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, as far as the domestic debt exchange program is concerned. And OPK looks like, even though the program is supposed to now give some relief in terms of the payments of the interest for those who are holding these government bonds, they're still reluctant to accept the new terms. They're just saying the interest rates are just not good enough, even though they'll be paid better up to 2037 than the previous arrangement was.
Well, I think it still boils down on negotiation. I mean, the government has indicated right from day one that they are not engaged in any compulsory move to get people to sign on to this arrangement. They are only pleading, bringing on board different deals so that the Ghanaian people, the people who hold bonds, will accept. Of course, if somebody is not happy with it, the Ministry of Finance, through its actions, have clearly indicated that they are willing and ready to sit down with any group of persons to negotiate. So it is not compulsory. You are not being forced to sign on to a deal. But if Dalex in his own things that is still not comfortable with the arrangement, it can still go to the Ministry of Finance, engage Ken Ofori-Atta and his assistants, and then and I'm sure that the government, because you see, it's a continuous process. Day in, day out, government continues to refine its proposals. What we seek to achieve is that at the end of the day, we are able to get a deal with the IMF. The IMF is saying that if you want the deal, what you need to do is to restructure your debt. We are looking at our external debt. We are also looking at our domestic debt. And one way of doing that is to engage in this individual exchange program. So if people are not happy, there's still room for negotiation. The Ministry of Finance, I think it has clearly indicated that it is not compulsory. It will welcome any suggestion from anybody. But we all must realize that at the end of the day, if we do not arrive at a deal, there are dire consequences on us as a people. That will be my statement on this matter. Okay,
but for the part of individuals being reluctant to accept these deals still means that the terms are just not right for them. Do we also run the risk, because we've had the finance minister shifting its position, at least we're talking about the fifth time, meaning that these individuals or the entities that represent them could also think that if they hold back a bit, they could get better terms?
Roland, let me just say that, and because we're all friends here, TV3 shouldn't take what OPK has said about you seriously. Like they went to Johnny and they've taken Johnny off. They shouldn't take you off. But you see, the principle, the number one principle of communication, and anyone who's done any level of communication, the first thing you are taught is when you make a statement and people have to come back to explain your statement, you have failed at communication.
And you're talking in relation to?
Both the gold for oil and this one. Because everything, look, every policy of government, after the statement has been made, we've had to have explanations and an explanation of the explanation and a further explanation of the explanation of the explanation.
And you think that's problematic?
Absolutely. It's the first principle of communication, that when you speak, especially as a policymaker, the stakeholders and people who are going to be affected by your policy must understand it and know where it's coming from. Clearly, Baumia is 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 a catastrophic failure when it comes to that. Okay, you've had to have the Bank of Ghana, NPA, Ministry, now OPK, everybody. Everybody is confused. Now, when it comes, when it comes, I mean, now,
you don't even understand the program.
Now, you do. Even Baumia himself doesn't understand what he announced. Now, coming to this debt exchange program, you said the people, if they have a problem, they should go and talk to the finance minister. That is the problem of this government. That OPK sits here and says that we, whose taxes pay you in government, you are taking a policy that is inimical to us. You haven't engaged with us. If we have a problem, we should come. The arrogance of power. The insolence of people who are drunk with power. So you would not engage stakeholders. You would not meet the people who are going to be affected. Pensioners who have toiled their life. Their bonds are at stake. Their life savings are at stake. And instead of you to humble yourself, because this debt exchange program is because of how useless, let me not put it bluntly, how useless you have been as finance minister. If our finance minister and his team and Baumia and head of economic management team, if they had been useful in the job that we pay them to do, we wouldn't need a debt exchange program.
I'm surprised you allow him to...
we wouldn't need a debt exchange program. Why? You expect me to use... Look, let me tell you something.
No.
My parents are pensioners. OPK, don't you have pensioners in your family?
Please.
No, I'm asking you. Are you happy and comfortable?
Some little respect.
I have respect for them.
You're talking about the vice president.
But if he's being useless at managing the economy...
You as a member of parliament, if somebody describes you as useless...
If I have been useless and they describe me...
No, if somebody describes you as useless,
I'm happy.
Will you be happy with this?
I'm happy you just said describe.
Please,
I have not insulted the person. I am describing the
performance. I'm surprised that you sit for him to...
I am describing
the president of this country.
No, I am describing. I have not insulted. You see, you people have a challenge with English and comprehension.
Oh, how dare you say this on...
If you don't, you yourself say the person you are describing.
How dare you say this?
You say it's an insult.
That somebody has...
A description is not an insult.
But how do you describe the vice president?
It is not.
Are you more important than the vice president?
I have
some task. How do you describe the vice president as useless?
Masa, when you finish shouting, the point is the vice president and Ken Ofori-Atta have been useless at managing our economy.
And you are useful.
Oh, but I'm holding them to task.
Sam George, you are useful.
I am holding them to task.
I'm surprised Roland is just looking at you.
My delegate and constituents
will determine
whether I have been useful. But the vice president...
In fact, this is a vice president who have been elected by the good people of this
country. The vice president was not elected.
Well,
let me just let you know.
The
vice president was not elected.
It's a team. You don't even understand.
The vice president was not elected.
The constitution demands that a presidential candidate would have a running mate. That's the
vice president has not...
I'm telling you.
That's true.
Hey, Roland, what is true? Have you seen the vice president's face on any ballot paper?
No, he's not on the ballot paper.
So what are you talking about?
But by inference...
What are you talking about?
He's elected
I'm saying that
alongside...
I won't sit here for you to insult the vice president.
Roland, I have not insulted the vice president. If our vice president was useful, we wouldn't have need for a debt exchange program.
Please.
He said he should withdraw.
Is it the first time the country is going to happen?
This is the first time we're having a debt exchange program.
Is it the first time? It is because of your reckless borrowing. Get your time.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
Oh, wow.
Are you telling me when Satekbe was a finance minister?
When you were singing in Parliament in 2019 and 2020,
did the NDC not borrow?
No, OPK and Sam.
Did NDC not borrow?
Let's cool heads prevail.
I'm cool. OPK is the one who is charged. You see when you don't have points,
oh, please stop this. Stop this child. This is like
OPK.
You think you have kids watching you on TV?
I have made only two sentences. Only two.
OPK says.
OPK
says that your use of the words in describing the vice president, the president, is untoward, is unethical. So he wants you to
withdraw. It is not OPK. You know, Roland. Know that using those words, it's unethical.
Roland.
How do you allow him, this small boy, to sit on radio and be describing the vice president?
He calls me small boy as if he's old.
I'm older than you.
By 3 months, and you think that makes you an old man? I'll come to a funeral. It's fine. You die before me.
He's making a submission.
OPK and Roland.
Samjo, listen. He says that you should withdraw.
OPK and Roland. I am a man who doesn't run away from speaking the truth.
Sam George.
I speak
He
truth
says
to
that your
authority.
description of the vice president.
I have parents who are pensioners.
And then also the president. Withdrawal of your description of the vice president.
And because I have pensioners in my family.
Would you be happy if the words you use on the vice president, the president, are used on you?
If I've been useless in my job, why not? And they describe me as useless, why not? I have not said the president or the vice president is useless. Listen to what I said, and that's why I said comprehension is key. I said the vice president.
You're not making any friends. Like, both of us don't understand comprehension.
No, Roland, you haven't raised that issue.
Listen his own way. Sam George,
you're making a submission, so I allowed you. Yes,
Roland.
Everybody, Sam George, Englishman.
I said the
you
vice president
English for this country
and Ken Ofori-Atta have been useless at managing our economy. That's different from saying that they are useless people.
I'm saying that.
And I repeat it.
The very things that you say. For instance,
when he's done,
it makes mention
when
of
he was talking, I was quiet.
Is it the first time we have borrowed as a people? Is it the first time?
Roland,
didn't the NDC borrow?
Roland, I didn't speak about borrowing. You didn't raise an issue of borrowing. The issue we are discussing here is not about IMF program. The issue we are discussing is about debt exchange and individual bondholders.
In my submission, I told you that we need to arrive at a program, at a debt exchange program, so that we are able to meet the conditions of the IMF.
The question I'm asking is, when we went to the IMF previously, if our economy was not in the shambles it is in today, so the IMF didn't ask us for a debt exchange program. But it is because of how useless Bawumia and Ken Ofori-Atta have been at managing our economy that today, before we can even qualify for an IMF program, we need to do a debt exchange that involves taking pensioners' bonds
and
individuals' bonds and moving them on for another 20 years. People whose bonds were due in 2032, you are moving it to 2052. And you tell me that the people who have caused this have not been useless at managing our economy? And you think that I should sing praises and put them in a palanquin and carry them?
He says the words you use are not. If they are
not harsh enough. If you know what it means to pensioners, let me tell you something. This year you say you give them 0% on their interest. Hey, Roland, many of these pensioners...
They've revised that.
No, Roland, wait.
They've revised.
Wait, Roland, even when you give them 5%,
you know that they've revised it.
I say, and 5%.
But they are saying that
5%.
Even the current interest is not good enough because they are even worse off.
Absolutely, Roland.
So they are
because
unwilling
inflation.
To. That's what we're discussing.
Under this useless management of our economy, inflation has wiped off 50%. You tell me useless is an insult. When you sat and were singing incompetent on Mahama, that was praises.
You said what?
I said 54% of whatever their bonds were has been wiped off by the useless management of the economy by Bawumia and Ken Ofori-Atta. Then you are paying them 5%. Many of these people have age-related conditions that require medication. Medication you must take on a daily basis. Because again, Bawumia and Ken Ofori-Atta have been useless at managing the economy. The cost of medication has quadrupled because of Forex. Because the dollar has played Skelewu on the city.
He said you should withdraw the word useless.
Did he withdraw the word incompetent?
I know you're happy, Roland. You are happy. I mean,
when they called Mahama incompetent, did you ask anybody to withdraw?
You're happy. I mean, clearly.
Why? Incompetent is a praise word.
If you really means what you approach, you approach it.
The government has been useless at managing the economy.
Don't worry about that.
When people said
Mahama, people are watching you. The Ghanaian people are watching you.
Why? Because Mahama is a lost man.
Every day you disgrace yourself on TV.
Mahama, me I disgrace myself on TV.
Who has said Mahama?
When you call Mahama incompetent, when you people insult Mahama, when your minister for communication today sat on TV and called Mahama Julo, he is not Ghanaian enough. Because I'm calling Ken Ofori-Atta useless.
You can insult.
I'm not insulting anybody.
Anyhow you want.
We are calling them out. The Ghanaian people want me to use it in stronger way.
Please, it's okay.
The Ghanaian people want stronger way.
Sam George, I don't like what you're doing. It's okay. No, Sam George, no, stop. Let him have the... No, it's okay.
You are well in Jino.
Okay, so OPK.
What kind of responsibility is that?
Stop this a communist approach.
What is communist approach?
Come and sit on this TV and get the impression this populist.
What is populist?
This you are engaging in populism.
Sam George, let me ask a question and then we can close. No, please. OPK, please listen to Sam George. OPK. How do we...
Don't worry. You can use every word that you want.
You steal from everybody.
No, stop.
I see the NDC didn't do that.
NDC?
Even when they did not even have any external issues.
What external issues? Because the Russia-Ukraine war, they are dropping the bombs at Alabama.
No,
or they are dropping the bombs in IMF. In Praeso is where they are fighting the Russia-Ukraine war.
OPK. Now we've come
Sometimes should always be grateful to this government. It should always be
grateful to which government?
I'm telling you.
Okay. So
despite the difficulties, government is still engaged in this programs to the extent that he, Sam George, is even benefit. Go to his constituency. Look at the roads that are being constructed. This is a government that is committed to ensuring that they do not even put anything to a halt. Unlike the NDC, when we were in difficulties, decided that, I will not be able to do nursing training allowance. I will not be able to do teacher training allowance.
The nursing training allowance.
This government.
Roland, why?
Roland, why?
I'm not being
and he is enjoying.
Now,
as an MP, he's enjoying.
Now, OPK.
There are even MPs who always would complain that go and look at some just constituency.
Hey, the go proper people, are you hearing?
Yes, I'm telling you.
MPP MP is saying that.
Yes.
MPP MPs are complaining that there's too much projects. I've lobbied for too many new projects going on in my constituency.
I am telling you,
you understand me? And then you sit here and say that me and
has not put to hold any project in this country. And that you should be appreciative of that.
You will continue to complain.
The difficulties. We are still developing Ghana.
You continue to complain. You continue to complain.
Now we've come to the point where the individual bondholders are even raising questions about their current state because they are saying the new proposals are just not good enough by
word. That's why I'm saying that.
So how do we bring them to the table?
The finance ministry always engages them. And that is why there's always a refined proposal from the ministry. So if they are still not happy, I'm sure the Ministry of Finance will continue to engage them.
When they are not happy?
If they are not happy, until we reach a point where both parties are satisfied with it, let's continue the negotiation. That is all I said on this program.
Okay. If you were in their position, would you like the new proposal by the finance minister?
Well, I will not be happy. Nobody will be happy with this. But the point is that where we have gotten to as a country, people must be ready to sacrifice. I mean, let's not create the impression that people don't have bonds in this country. People do. But we should be prepared to sacrifice. But whilst doing that, we should also factor into account, I mean, people, the aged, people who have bonds and all of that. And I know that government is still structuring a program for them. That's why I believe in negotiation. I have said that the finance ministry should do a more broader consultation.
Don't you think there's a certain lack of complete trust?
No, I don't think so.
For the finance minister. And that's why these individual bondholders and their representatives or the organization they're represented don't seem to be having a buy-in.
They always sit with him. They always sit with the finance minister. They always sit with the finance ministry. I mean, nobody has come to say that they've lost trust in the finance minister. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Give me 30 seconds.
No, we have to go.
But that's unfair. You can't say you won't give me an opportunity to make a comment.
Sam George is a member of parliament for
Roland.
We're closing.
I'm just going to read. Give me 10 seconds.
And then also we have David
I'm going to read what Samira Baumia
who is a member of parliament for Imprice. So both of you are on the same committee, eh?
Yes,
which committee are you?
But we see you're incompetence.
Public Accounts Committee.
We see you.
You are his leader on the Public Accounts Committee.
We see you, but we see bad management.
Admit that I'm your leader.
We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
But we want change. We see you, but